Hello, everyone, and welcome to the program. I'm Sean Kimberley, China's television's global headquarters in Lagos, Nigeria. The first term of the Buhari government has effectively come to an end. Well, we have come to an end also of the 8th National Assembly, where Bukola Saraki was Senate President and Yakubu Dogara was Speaker of the House of Representatives. But in a matter of about 48 hours, the 9th Assembly will roll in. The drama of June 2015 will not easily be forgotten by people like Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, who was endorsed by the party at the time. But when it got to the floor in the chambers, things changed in favor of Mr. Yakubu Dogara. Mr. Femi Gbajabiamila is again in the race and is being endorsed by the party for the speaker role of the 9th Assembly. And this time around, it appears to be more than certain that it will clinch it.
We've gotten the endorsement of the president. We've gotten the endorsement of the party. We've gotten the endorsement of Nigerians who are not even members of the National Assembly. It has been a long journey. We're almost at the end. Almost.
We are going into the election with a united front, and we will deliver. We will set the record. It is going to be an hurricane. It's going to be an hurricane. They will see the result that has never been seen before.
Well, it is not a general election, and you wonder why the race is so intense. It's an election amongst 360 members of the elected on the House of Representatives, the lower chamber of the National Assembly, and 109 elected senators of the Federal Republic. They will be inaugurated, and on that day, the principal officers will be determined. The Senate President and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, both of them will be determined. The Senate will happen first, then the House of Representatives will happen about an hour after, and it's going to happen on the 11th of June 2019. The election of the Senate has come down to a race between two men. Senator Ahmed Lawan, the majority leader of the Senate, and now Senator Ali Ndume, who was also a majority leader, the man who said he is not going to step down and is going to take the fight to the finish line. We saw Senator Danjuma Goche during the week stepping down and endorsing Senator Ahmed Lawan. He has criticized the endorsement. Senator Ali Ndume criticized the endorsement of Senator Ahmed Lawan by the party. How will it go for those that are being endorsed? Femi Gbajabiamila for the Speaker of the House of Reps and Senator Ahmed Lawan for the Senate presidency. Well, the man who helped Yakubu Dogara to win the Speaker in 2015 is the same man behind Femi Gbajabiamila. He's the Director General of the Gbajabiamila Wase campaign organization. He joins us today on the program. It does look like their camp they are confident. They say they have 183 members and they need about 181, isn't it? So let's get talking. Honorable Abdulmumin Jibrin, a former chairman of the Finance and Appropriations Committee and also the Director General of the Gbajabiamila Wase campaign organization. He joins us from our Abuja studio this evening. Thank you so much, Honorable Jibrin, for coming on tonight. What makes you think, because it looks so much from your camp, you look so confident. You said you have 183 and you have more of that. The dynamics that played out in 2015 should be a lesson to any politician in the first place. And what makes you think that this time around, the PDP that we have not seen that has been talking so much about this will not spring a surprise, considering the fact that we now hear that perhaps Honorable Yakubu Dogara also may have thrown his hat in the ring.
Well, let me take towards the end of your statement where you talked about Yakubu Dogara might be throwing himself in the ring. Well, we're very comfortable at this point, and we are not worried about anybody contesting the election. the most important thing is that we're very prepared and we're very confident that Femi is going to win. Femi is going to win the speakership and, of course, was the deputy speakership. But for Dogara, I've had that personal conversation with him, and I've offered him my own advice, because when you look critically, of course, the PDP as a party didn't put forward Dogara as a candidate. The PDP caucus in the House of Representatives didn't put him forward as their candidate. Then, of course, his inner cycle, I used to be part of it before I got out of it. They did not put him forward to be speaker. And I had this conversation with him, and I advised him that I think my own personal advice to you is to embrace Femi, because what they've done to you is such an uncomplimentary public, if you can use the word, a direct opposite of endorsement. And so when we keep hearing, if he wants to contest, let him contest. He's our boss, he's our speaker, but on that day, we'll vote the candidate that we want to. He was our speaker, on that day, we'll vote the candidate that we want to vote. Now, when you look at the situation between 2015 and 2019, 2015, the circumstances are different, and we've tried to explain this severally. In the case of 2015, the APC was a bit complacent by just assuming that with its own votes, it is going to win the election as a party. Why the PDP took its time, and of course some of us that rebel against the party at then took our time to poach some members from the APC. But the case now is different. The APC, we, the campaign team of Femi and Wase, we are far even more aggressive. The APC as a party is far even more aggressive at poaching out candidates, poaching out members elected from the PDP. And that is why we announced, and it's a matter of fact, and you will see the signatures. We are going to display it in the next 1 hour or so. We are going to have a live program where we'll show Nigerians the whole of this. We have about 60 signatures of PDP members and other opposition members that have signed to support us. And just before I come to this studio, the Southeast Caucus, which is essentially a PDP-dominated caucus, led by Pat Asadu, just adopted Femi Gbajabiamila. It is recorded, pictures were snapped. I moved from that event to this particular place. So we've spent time to perfect our strategy and punch every side of the PDP. And I can assure you, another opposition party, and I can assure you that I'm not trying to use a kind of a word that is uncomplimentary, but the reality of the matter is that we've sufficiently broken the ranks of the PDP. Now, even without that, we have our numbers. The numbers you just quoted, the 183, is from the new members. It has nothing to do with returning members. And we had a live program yesterday where they signed, they've showed it, all of them are together. We had an event yesterday. This evening we are also having an event. We've perfected the way we are going to hold our hands all the way to the whole and ensure that every member do what he is supposed to do. So there are a lot of things that are happening that, of course, will make 2015 different from 2019. And also when you look at the people who were part of the process in 2015 and 2019, most of us have all moved over to support Femi Gbajabiamila. The few ones that are left, we've run a very clean campaign. We're not abusing anyone, and we don't want to abuse anyone until we win this election. But again, you media are the ones that have promoted, and it's a bit of an irritant when I see on national TV you are putting Femi side by side with Bago. We've taken it so much of an ease, but you know, the battle line has been drawn. We want to go to the floor. We want him to go. If he can beat Femi, let's go and see. Have you seen Honorable Bago with one member, one single member of APC, or one member elect campaigning? If you ask him, he will say, oh no, the members are hiding their identities for fear. In 2015, when he was part of us that rebel against the party, were we hiding? When you are 2 days to election, people who are supporting you they never hide their identity. That is why you see in the Senate, all of them went public. Today, we are also going to provide our signatures. Hundreds of members. I don't want to give you the figure, but the figure that we have now is almost twice the numbers that you just read out on television. And everywhere we go, you see what we do, you see the people we have, you see the support that we have. All right. Everybody understands and knows very clearly that Bago and 1 or 2 other APC members that are contesting are being sponsored by Dogara. And so a small clique of PDP members or opposition members that are attacking, of course, the ruling party or the president. We've warned him that we've done that in the past. We've seen where it has taken us to. Most of us have repented and asked for forgiveness from the party and the rest. But it seems people like Bago are not ready to repent. But unfortunately, this time around, he gets the mathematics wrong, and he is going to lose the election woefully on Tuesday.
All right. I mean, the Bago camp has told us that your camp is jittery. And one of the criticism from the Bago camp, for example, is for what they have analyzed. If you look at what we'll show you on the screen, the analysis of the regional placement of the principal officers and especially the political dynamics of the country. For example, a lot of people will say the vice president is from the Bola Tinubu political camp. And again, Femi Gbajabiamila is also from the Bola Tinubu camp. They say this is going to be an albatross for him because when you have a Southwest vice president and you also have a Southwest speaker, is that fair to a region like the North Central and the Southeastern region of the country?
Okay, there are two issues there. One aspect of the issue is the issue of Bola Tinubu, and the second aspect of the issue is the fact that you are putting the speakership position in a zone that already has the vice president. So I will take it one at a time. The issue, and I have repeatedly answered this question, there are two issues in terms of the North Central agitation. One, they said they have been shortchanged in the National Assembly in the last 20 years. Secondly, they are saying in this instance, they should be given the speakership because they earned it. Now, have they really been shortchanged in the National Assembly? The answer is a capital no. From 2001 to 2007, they had the Deputy Senate President, uninterrupted. From 2007 to 2015, for an uninterrupted period of 12 years, they had the position of the Senate President, and nobody questioned that. So they have not been shortchanged in the National Assembly. Now, coming to the aspect of the zoning, which I've also repeatedly explained that fact. Now, which is less costly for our political system? Is it we, the Northerners, to keep the President, the Senate President, and also to keep the Speaker of the House of Representatives? Three positions, somebody talking about equity. He looks at the country and says these three positions should be kept in the northern part of the country. We say to them the position of the president and of course that of the Senate President is sufficient for the northern part of the country. Now the speakership should go to the southern part of the country. Now they have an issue with the speakership being in the southwestern part of the country. Now you can understand that to some extent, but the party also have a dilemma. We do not have options of members from the southeast to take up that position. Now even if we do, which one is less costly? Is it to now pilot three major positions in the southern part of the, in the northern part of the country, or to move one to the southern part of the country to have a balance, but take it to the southwestern part of the country? So I do not think that there is any issue of injustice, there is any issue of lack of equity or fairness. I believe that it is just a selfish interest. And finally, on this particular issue that we're talking about, in 2011, Bago himself and some of them who are contesting now were part of the process that brought Tambuwal. And at then, the vice president was from the northwest. And we all supported Tambuwal and got involved in that rebellion, knowing fully that Tambuwal is also from the northwest. What has changed between 2011 and 2015? It's all an issue of, sorry to use this word, we push the world to use this word, selfishness, self-interest. That is it. It has nothing to do with promoting the interests of the people of the North Central. In any case, they have the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives is going to the North Central, and I'm sure there are other positions that will be given to the North Central from the executive arm of government. Then also in terms of balancing, that is why the structure of the National Assembly in terms of the leadership, you have 6 in the Senate and you have 6 in the House of Representatives. And so in the Senate, the 6 geopolitical zones will be represented. In the House of Representatives, the 6 geopolitical zones will be represented. So the Southwest have now the Speaker, the North Central have the Deputy Speaker, the remaining 4 positions, the leader of the House, the deputy leader of the House, the whip and the deputy whip, we go to the remaining 4 geopolitical zones. So that issue of injustice, of lack of fairness, are just things that are created by these few recalcitrant members who are pretenders, not contenders, and are actually being funded by Speaker Dogara.
It looks like your camp is afraid of Dogara because you've mentioned Dogara a few times today. And when your camp comes forward to say, Femi Gbajabiamila is the best, a lot of some of the opponents have criticized that statement. Now, what makes you think Femi Gbajabiamila is the best? Because a lot of people have come to say they have some indicting issues against Mr. Gbajabiamila. In fact, they say they have more on Mr. Gbajabiamila. When you say Gbajabiamila is the best, what do you mean by that?
Well, very quickly, let me correct that impression. I didn't bring up the issue of Dogara. You mentioned Dogara, that there's been rumor here and there that he wants to get into the ring, and that is why I responded to the issue of Yakubu Dogara. But when you come down to the issue of Femi, I have said this. And have you noticed that in the last 6-7 weeks that we've been campaigning, repeatedly we've said Femi is the overall best candidate you can offer for the position of speakership in the House of Representatives at the moment in the entire National Assembly. Nobody has disputed it. Even those who are working against him, even people like Bago who are concocting documents, going to court, struggling to find a way through subterranean means to get Femi out of the race, accept the fact that Femi is the best. He is the most competent. He is the most respected as it is today in the House, and we have a nickname which we call him.
He's more competent than yourself. You are also a ranking member.
So
he's more competent than you.
Absolutely, Sean.
He's more competent than Yakubu Dogara.
Sean, correct.
Is he more competent than Yakubu Dogara too?
Of course, for now he's more competent than Yakubu Dogara.
Interesting. What makes him more competent?
Now, that's exactly the point that I was explaining to you. He's a team player. He has the right temperament, and I tell you this, it will amaze you. People say, yes, a good politician should be able to scheme. We were just even having a meeting with some group of PDP members earlier today. All of them were saying one thing about him is that he doesn't know how to scheme. What you see is what you get. He's a thoroughbred lawmaker. And I was about saying when it cut off the other time that we call him the encyclopedia of the House of Representatives. There's practically nothing in terms of our rules, in terms of our processes, in terms of bills, in terms of motions, everything you ask. Historically, in the last 17 years or so that Femi has been member of the House, he will give it to you off the head. Severally, he has corrected the speakers. Several speakers, when he was in the House, they will get lost in the process of presiding, and it is Femi who will off the head tell them so rules or so documents or so bill has been passed. So the point that I'm making is that he is an all-rounder. And losing the election in 2015 actually prepare him more, prepare to sharpen his leadership skill. And it entered him to the heart of everyone. Why? Because of the way he accepted the defeat. Everybody thought he is going to revolt. He never revolted. And I tell you this because I was part of the process, that if he had chosen to make the House ungovernable, he would have been able to do it like this. But he didn't. He accepted Speaker Dogara. He never disrespected him for a day. He worked hard for the party, continues to support the party, continues to defend the party, continues to support the country as a whole, and ensure that there's stability in the House of Representatives. In other climb, somebody like Femi will not need to contest this election because, you know, with the risk of sounding a bit boisterous, he earns it as rising from minority leader all the way to majority leader, and he's the only one that holds that pedigree in the House of Representatives. It's something that we would have just said we are waiting for the day that he should be crowned. But hey, here we are. We're in Nigeria, and that is how these things are done, and we have to adjust campaign and the rest. Likewise, the deputy speakership candidate Wase, who has had 15 years parliamentary experience, holding different responsibility, rising to become the deputy leader of the House. Fantastic guy. Everybody knows him. Man of integrity, straightforward, honest, and the rest. And he's a rallying point to a lot of members. So we believe that At this age, when the president has the next 4 years and he wants to consolidate on what he has achieved, the massive work the president has done for our economy, massive work in the security, massive work in anti-corruption. Just 2 days ago, I was talking to people that before, when many people, when they are filling their code of conduct form, they don't even take it serious. Now, come and see public officers. And this is leadership coming from President Muhammadu Buhari. Everybody is conscious of what he does, what he owns.
Let's take a breather. In parliamentary politics, that's perhaps one area of politics that surprised Hotsue. If you know what has happened, they say you don't blink when there are critical issues to be debated or voted for. You keep your eyes open, especially when there's going to be an election as critical as election of principal officers. So Mr. Femba Jabiamila is one person who understands that language so much. When it comes to election on the floor, you don't blink. You get the politics to the very last minute. So is the one favored by the party. Mr. Jabiamila believes that he has been endorsed by the president. Is of the Bola Tinubu camp of politics in Nigeria. The vice president, Yemi Oshibajo, is also of the Bola Tinubu political camp. So there's been a lot of contest on how these will play out. There's Mr. Bago. There is Honorable Onyeji from the Southeastern region. Also Honorable Onwejuba is also there. Don't forget, we have another person, Honorable Undudi Elumelu, is also in the run for the race. We even hear now that Mr. Yakubu Dogara may be in the race. And this is not a joke at all. Let's continue with our conversation. It looks so much that Femba Jabiamila is a man all of them want to beat. Abdulmumin Jibrin is the Director General of the Jabiamila Wase campaign organization. He's been talking to us from our Abuja studio. Let's continue quickly with the conversation. It does look like the way a lot of things are going. It's 2 days to this election. APC still has many candidates in the race, Bago, Nkiruka, and all of them. This is going to cut down because these are APC members. If they are going to get any support, their support base is within the APC. And that, in any case, is going to affect the chances of Jabiamila in any case. So are you talking to them? Are you promising them anything?
Correct. As I have said earlier, we've been talking to a part of the opposition parties, that's PDP inclusive, and we've reached a deal, and it's a matter of fact, everybody knows that. And as I am talking to you, we have over 60 members in our kitty, of which we've offered them a particular responsibility when it comes to the 9th Assembly. It is not all about sharing committees. There are all other issues that we've agreed with them, how we're going to work mutually, how we're going to support them, and the rest, how they're also going to ensure, give us support at all time so that we can be able to pass all our bills, our motions, etc., and the rest. But part of that negotiation is also some committees of which we've seeded a combination of chairmanship and deputy chairmanship, about 60 of these positions to them, which is very sufficient. And I do not see anything that you can offer them. In any case, we do not need the entire opposition numbers to be able to win our elections. And the way we are guiding our votes within the APC this time around, it will be difficult for you to be able to poach members away from the APC. But again, these are extra measures. Apart from that, it is genuinely done by Speaker, the incoming Speaker and his deputy, to ensure that we run an all-inclusive house. Just like the deal we just went into with the Southeast Caucus, that is the Igbo region, under the leadership of Pat Asadu. We were so touched, myself, the incoming Speaker, his deputy, and some other members that we went to that meeting. We were touched because their priority wasn't even committees. What they were saying is that they're interested in bringing in the southeastern region to the center. put them in the center, negotiate for them. They raise issue of the Northeast Development Commission. They raise issue of their roads. They raise issues of the work going on in the second Niger Bridge, commending the president and also encouraging that the work should not stop. And it should go. So many issues of development to the southeastern part of the country. We are all so touched because they were so patriotic, and we reached an understanding with them. Now, anybody contesting from APC.
To ask you, Honorable Jibrin, because I know you were former chairman of Appropriations Committee. What are you going to get this time around? Because I know that you've talked about 60 positions now ceded to the opposition. What are you getting? Appropriations?
Completely, well, for a politician, usually you play around a question like this, because I actually didn't expect this question, I must confess to you. But I'm not interested in appropriations committee. What you see me doing is as a result of the experience that I've had between 2015 and 2019, and there are a lot of things that I want to correct. To be honest with you, from the bottom of my heart, I'm not looking for appropriations chairman. I don't want appropriations chairman. And of course, Femi is not one that sit down to you and tell you that I want to give you finance or up. People talk all over, committees and rest. He doesn't do that. It will amaze you. He's such a professional. He doesn't do that. And let me tell you, for me personally, it is not in my...
Again, I'll probably do a follow-up on that question, Honorable Jibrin. And the question is that your party chairman, Adams Oshiomhole, had said, look, that every major position in the National Assembly will go to members of the APC. Now that you have considered about 60 positions to the opposition, is your party not going to get angry with your camp for ceding these positions to them?
Why is it that you find it difficult all the time to remember the fact that the same party actually released a statement permitting us to negotiate with opposition party in the interest of stability and development of the National Assembly and, of course, the country at large. So what we are doing is just complying with the instruction of our party. We've gone beyond what Oshiomhole said. Now, when last did Oshiomhole make that kind of comment? We should actually look at the last time the party made a position on this matter. And please be fair to him. If the party chairman, or if the APC party chairman says to APC members, just take everything, winner takes all, you should also remember that at then, even the PDP chairman was also threatening that he is going to give instruction to his members to vote in a particular pattern. So the party can always have that position. But when it comes to we, the members within the National Assembly, that is how we go about things. But again, when you also look at the temperature, even my friend Bago, by the way, I'm one of his closest friends in the house. We've sat and I've done this analysis to him that can't you see the mood of the country? Who wants to fight? Nobody wants to fight. Not even the governors, not even the opposition governors are interested in the kind of fight we saw in the 8th Assembly. Nobody wants it. I'm sure Secundo doesn't want a situation where we'll have a leadership in the National Assembly that will be fighting the executive all the time. And by putting even Femi and Wasi there, many people will say, Robert Stam, no, it is not possible. Femi, Wasi, Olawa, look at them very well and look at their history and pedigree. They are not people that will be Robert Stam. And I assure you that President Buhari is not looking for a leadership in the National Assembly. There will be a Robert Stam. He is only looking for a leadership that will not use the institution for their own personal benefit or fight their own personal war. That is the only difference. But again, investigations will continue. We'll continue to tell the president where things are going right or where things are going wrong. The National Assembly will play its role. But what the government wants and what majority of Nigeria wants to see this time around is governance. It's not fighting. And a lot of members that have been endorsing Femi, and by the way, we members endorsed him before even the party or the president endorsed him. We are the ones that
I think, Honorable Jibrin, I think we should anchor on this note. And the big question is this. We understand that the members of the PDP are meeting in Abuja as we speak with some of their governors. Also, we understand that APC governors are also meeting as we speak in Abuja with some stakeholders. It's going to be all about this. Look, what happened in 2015, I can remember, was on the morning of the election, was when PDP made their decision. Should the PDP make a decision that will upset Mr. Gbajabiamila's chance, what would you do?
When we did Dogara, and when we did Tambuwal, and when they did the Meji Bankole, look at the history completely. It is first members that own that project. I tell you this, there is no amount of instruction you will give members. If they don't want to do it, they will not do it. No instruction you will give this night that is going to work. So long as the heart of the members is made up and they know that the quality of the speaker that they want, that can carry everybody along, that has provided also for the opposition party and is willing to continue to have conversation with everyone. He hasn't shut his door. All we are saying, let's have a peaceful house. I am not sure any member you will go and sit, whether you are governor or what, to give instruction and for him to come and implement. I'm telling you this because I understand what is going on and we know the house very well. Election will take place in 2 days time, and of course Femi is going to emerge. The only worry I have is that you've not taken your time, even the media, to scrutinize these candidates thoroughly. You just allow them, gave them cheap publicity. When I talk about my friend, maybe after I leave here today, we're still going to talk Bago. Have you heard him spoken once about what he can do? Electronic media, stand on the television and tell the country, these are the kind of reforms I can bring.
All right.
These are the kind of experience that I have.
Honorable Jibrin,
this is how I pass
we must leave it at that.
Have you noticed?
You've done a good job, I guess, for your friend.
Him on the floor of the house.
We'll see how that plays out.
The kind of issues that you should have looked at.
Honorable Jibrin, we'll see more of you, I guess, in the coming days, especially when the National Assembly is being inaugurated and how the election goes. Thank you so much for talking to us tonight on the program.